I'm Jayson King. I'm a board-certified holistic nurse, a trainer, and a teacher. And I've worked and taught at Allina for 17 years in a number of different positions. Today, I'm going to talk about the idea of self-care in the moment. One of my long-standing goals has been, in my work here at Allina, has been the idea of making self-care as simple as possible, and to really recognize that we have the power in each moment to make changes in our mind and in our bodies. We can change our physiology in the moment. If we are having a stress response that isn't the right response in the moment, we have the ability to make change. So whether it is in the moment or with a longer passage of time, we can also recognize that that process of change is individual to each of us. So there are many research documented tools available, and today I'll talk about just a few in this short presentation. So the general idea of self-care is that there are, of course, many ways to keep our mind and body and spirit healthy. These include exercising, movement, nutrition, cultivating our relationships, meditation practice, spiritual practice. But what do we do in the moment to stay connected with our core in our place of balance, so we can step out and respond instead of react in times of stress? I always start with the breath. And I want you to know that all of these ideas that I'll be presenting are solidly backed by experience and research. Sometimes the idea of holistic and resilience-based self-care is that it's only attained through many years of practice and study of philosophy. And I'm here to tell you those traditions are amazing and they're great. And I certainly encourage self-care habits in practice. And there are many science-based techniques like the breath that are easy to use and practice in the moment. So let's go ahead and just get started, and I'll walk you through a few techniques. The breath is a powerful tool. I can't emphasize enough how powerful our breath can be. In all my trainings, I always start with the breath. So today I'll introduce a simple and highly effective belly breathing technique. So with this, in the practice today, if you're seated, go ahead and just notice how you're sitting. Notice your posture. Notice your feet flat on the floor. Uncross your arms or your legs. For this exercise, you can close your eyes or you can leave them open and just focus your gaze at a point that won't move in front of you. With that action of closing your eyes or focusing your gaze, you begin to notice your breath. Bring your awareness to your breath. That's simple in-breath, simple out-breath. It might be that feeling, that little feeling where it comes in and out your nose. It might be your chest rising and lowering. You're just noticing your breath. With your next in-breath, notice how it fills your lungs completely, and you blow it slowly out your mouth. So you breathe in through your nose, fill your lungs completely, and blow slowly out your mouth so that your out-breath is longer than your in-breath. And with your next in-breath, make sure that your belly expands. You can put your hand on your belly to make sure it moves, or just notice that it expands. And then you blow it slowly out your mouth. Do that just a couple more times. Through your nose all the way to your belly, and blow it slowly out your mouth. And one more time. Through your breath, all the way to your belly, and blow it slowly out your mouth. Notice now, as you allow your breath to go back to its regular breathing pattern, the changes that have happened. Often you notice your shoulders relaxing. You can notice with those simple breaths that your mind starts to clear a little, that your body is in a little more balanced place. So just a couple ideas about this before I move on to something else is that with a little practice, belly breaths are one of the best in the moment techniques. With a little practice of how I described it, you can use it in the moment. It might take 10 seconds, and you can notice how your mind and your body balance. The key elements, in through your nose and a longer breath out your mouth, will help to start reducing your blood pressure. And also, when you breathe all the way to your belly, you expand your diaphragm completely. You activate your vagus nerve, which activates your relaxation response within your whole body. Your parasympathetic response, your relaxation response. I want to also talk about the idea of grounding and centering. Now, these are two words that are used quite often in a lot of different types of classes. The idea here is with these words is that they're almost interchangeable words. These techniques can bring you easily into that balanced, calm place we always have inside of us that we can access easily. Grounding, the idea of grounding is a little more about our physical self, and centering is a little more about our mental balance. The belly breath we just did is a good grounding technique. So here are a few more. For this next practice, if you're already sitting with your feet flat on the floor and your arms uncrossed, you can close your eyes again or leave them open with a focused gaze. For a moment, you can just take the idea of a gentle scan through your body, just noticing where you might be holding any tension, and with your breath, allow it to release. A gentle, quick scan through your body. You can use your imagination also then to imagine that there would be roots that would grow out from the bottoms of your feet and from the base of your spine. Some people imagine them as roots, or maybe just a thought or a feeling. And imagine that they go through the floor very easily, very safely, and go all the way into the earth. This is really a literal grounding practice. And it's something that you can do in the moment. Imagine that you're literally grounded right into the earth. There are a couple other places that we can also look to within our physical self. As you allow that image of the roots to fade, bring your attention up to a place called the Dantian. That's below your navel and deep inside you. That's a place that comes from traditional Chinese medicine, from the practice of Tai Chi. It's a place of centering. That's our place of grounding and centering. It's below the navel and deep inside. Sometimes you can even put your hand on that area just to bring your attention and your awareness there. And as you continue to breathe, you can even add the belly breath here. Imagine it going all the way to that center, that Dantian center. And you blow it out slowly, noticing that you can change your physiology with your breath and the idea of the Dantian. Some people then also prefer the heart space, our physical heart space. And you can also use that. And you can put your hand on that space too. And again, with the breath, literally breathe into that space. And you can just use 2 or 3 breaths into one of those 2 spaces or both of them, these physical places where we can bring our awareness to bring ourselves into that space of grounding and centering. Now, of course, as you gently open your eyes, if you had them closed for this exercise, there are other ways to ground and center. And we all have our individual ways. So a few listed on the slide here are walking outside. Our connection with nature is very grounding and centering. Our pets can teach us a lot. Hugging our pets, petting our pets. Our pets tend to live in the moment. Belly laughs, hugs, when we can, when it's safe for hugs. Intentional acts like gratitude and generosity. And of course, again, what works for you, finding your own way to ground and center. I want to touch on just a couple more ideas here, the idea of intentions and affirmations. Now, setting a daily intention is one of the most powerful visualizations we can do. It's so easy to roll out of bed and wander through your day and with no direction or drive. Daily intentions make you more focused. It can help put you in a positive headspace and commit you to your goals. You can either say them to yourself at the beginning of the day. Some people like to write them down too. So an intention is certainly a positive direction. Affirmations and intentions are really positive thought cousins. So an example of an intention is, today I will listen and be fully engaged in all my conversations. So it's an intention for that day for you to be fully engaged. And when you set it at the beginning of the day, you begin to create your day. Now, the idea of affirmations, along with intentions, can help to really rewire our brains, so to speak, creating neural pathways that lead to more constructive thinking. You can set a time of the day to use affirmations. Often in the morning is a good time. With intention and affirmations, be careful of the language you use. Avoid words like can't and won't and should. Here's an example of an affirmation. I won't have pain today. You can change that to I am healthy and strong. Again, with a little bit of practice, you can bring affirmations into your self-care at the moment. In the moment, in my inpatient practice, I've often suggested affirmations to patients when they're feeling anxiety, when they're feeling stress. They don't understand what that idea of affirmations is. I might suggest 1 or 2. The ones I often have suggested are, I am safe, or I am confident and strong. A couple ideas of affirmations. Remembering that with intentions and affirmations, that yes, they can be a practice and they can be used in the moment. It's always important with any of these practices, and I've just given you a few, a taste of a few, to find what works for you and what feels best. It's often most important that you recognize when your stress levels build, that your stress levels at the time are maybe not what you need to help you think clearly, and knowing that you have the ability to change in the moment. Maybe one of these exercises that I've just walked you through, or something that you know works for you. With that, I just want to touch on the idea that there's lots of research and articles that confirm how important self-care and being able to recognize that we can change our stress response, we can change our physiology, and how important that is. And the last line here also is our Alina resources, that we have many resources at Alina that we can use that can help continue to guide us on our self-care journey. And they're easily and freely accessible to all. So with that, with the spirit of self-care and the spirit of bringing our self-care really into the moment when we need it, I want to thank you all for your work and your commitment to self-care and whole person care at Alina. So thank you.